Hi, and welcome to the Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast presented by Wolf Precision Incorporated, where we learn about and share long range shooting and custom rifle building. I am your host, Jamie Dotson, and welcome to the show. Hi, and welcome to episode 258 of Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Dotson, and welcome back to the show. In this episode, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully everybody had a great time and a safe time and good time to spend with family and friends. And in this episode, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the number one reason you should get into long-range shooting. All right, before we get started, I do want to say a quick thank you to TriggerTech. TriggerTech is the maker of fine rifle triggers. They make a lot of different makes and models. They're, in my mind, one of the safest, easiest to install, and easiest to adjust triggers on the market today. So if you'd like to upgrade your game and you'd like to do it with a trigger, you can stop over to triggertech.com. That's triggertech.com today. We'd also like to thank Krieger Barrels. Krieger is the maker of fine cut rifle barrels. They are a family-owned and operated business out of the great state of Wisconsin. They offer a new program called Krieger Direct, where you can log in, look at their variety of barrels that they try to keep in stock, and have your barrel in as little as 2 to 3 business days. So if you want the best and you need it now, you can stop over to KriegerBarrels.com. That's KriegerBarrels.com today. So we had a visitor stop by this week here at the shop, and a young woman, a professional in her career, looking for and getting into, and really you can see the interest in long-range shooting. And I want to share here just a little bit about what I think the number one reason you should get into long-range shooting is. A lot of people get into different sports for different reasons. Some just because it's cool, some because they're trying to compete, some because it's something that they want to try to leave their mark in, or they've got a really good ability to shoot well or drive well or golf well or whatever it might be, and they really do want to become a professional. You have those that get into long-range shooting because they want to try to extend their range in hunting, and I'm talking, ethical hunting, of course, not really trying to brag about making a 2,000-yard shot on an animal, but giving them the skill sets to shoot what would be beyond their normal capability. So think of the average hunter probably keeping most of their shots within 100 to 300 yards, I would say, is normal, but giving them the confidence and the skill set to maybe get out to 500 or 600 yards if the conditions are right and the shooting position is correct, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of different reasons people will get into this. But let's just talk about shooting itself. The number one reason I would say to get into or look at or be interested in learning the art of long-range shooting is it's magical. There is just something so cool about looking through your optics and seeing something so far away that you couldn't barely see it with your naked eye, right? Something the size of a dinner plate, a small paper plate. And through skill, knowledge, and feel, being able to guide that bullet downrange 1,000 yards away and get it to compensate for the wind, steer it into the wind so the wind push it back. There's such an art to it, but when it hits the steel or when it hits that plate, there is just something that makes you smile. It's like a little bit of sorcery, magic, and witchcraft, and there's just something unnatural about it, but extremely gratifying. When I got hooked into long-range shooting as a youngster, I really loved going out and chasing varmints. One of my favorite things to do was to grab the .22 long rifle and go out after squirrels. In the summertime, of course, tin cans were on the menu for targets. I could tell you some great stories about how I learned to shoot movers with a .22, but we'll save those for another podcast. The varmint hunting, getting into groundhog hunting really stretched my legs. Like, my goal was to shoot out to 500 yards, right? And we were trying to get into the Varmint Hunters 500-yard club. And we were doing a lot of filming on those videos we actually filmed. We should get them republished and release them here for giggles. And you will see a much younger me out there shooting and carrying on. But to make a short version of a long story, I shot my 500-yard shot. So it was meant to get in the record book for the Varmint Hunters Association, which used to be out of South Dakota. But when it came time for my turn to shoot, it was like, it was magical. I'll never forget it till the day that I die. It was a crow at something like 527 yards. It was a 204 Ruger shot out of a Thompson Center single shot with a 3x18 scope, shooting a 32 grain bullet at like 4,000 plus feet per second. And at that distance, it had no energy whatsoever. In the film, the crow just fell over. It just died. But what was so cool is in the wind, off of a hay bale, 527 yards, you're looking out there and you're like, wow, that is small. Like, it's a crow, right? You're getting all set up. You're getting your dope dialed in. You're doing the math. You're looking at the wind. You're doing your compensations. All these things. You're getting your bipod set up in your feet. You're supporting the rear of the rifle. And then that moment of truth. It's sort of like pulling the wheel in a lottery machine, or like some type of gambling, I guess you would say, where you're trying to hit the jackpot. Think of a slot machine, because then you've gone all in, and now you're waiting because you're pulling the trigger, and bang. And there is a moment there where there's a pause. Nothing's happening. You're waiting, and even though it's only a second or two, it feels quite longer, right? And then all of a sudden, pow, the crow falls over. And that feeling, if that's what dopamine is the greatest feeling ever. My buddy was like, oh my God, you got him. You killed him. I was like, oh my God, we got, you can just picture we're two grown men with careers acting like teenagers in the field, right? I was belated. I just couldn't wipe the grin off my face. And went down there, and sure enough, there's a tiny little hole. And the crow, the body of a crow, is right about the size of an egg, a big egg. They're not very big animals underneath there to knock them down. They're more feather than they are anything else. And so that's why. And just that I think the pause between when the rifle cracks, there's a moment you don't know. Like, you're just waiting for the door to open. Did you win the prize or not, right? And all of a sudden, pow, there it is, you win it. We had some customers come through the shooting school. Same examples. Like, we've had customers jump up off the ground and just be like, that was the best thing ever. They're just going off. Like, they're coming in here for the second and third day of class, skipping like schoolgirls, just because they had so much fun the day before. And when they went out to dinner the night after class, they're just yakking away about, the same shot over and over again, about how exciting it was. That's really cool. I remember going out on my first, we were really trying to do 1,000 yards. So, of course, we got in the 500-yard club, me and Rich, and we were working on the Varmint Hunters Association's 1,000-yard club. Man, the next film took us 2 years to film, and we did all of it here in Pennsylvania, trying to promote groundhog hunting, of course. But the furthest woodchuck was about, I think it was 1180 or 1080 on one of the shots. And he scrambled. I hammered him hard, and he rolled all over the place and ended up going back down the hole. But when you're shooting at those distances, there's a really big lull, and a woodchuck's not very big, probably theoretically the same size as the crow was, right, at that distance. And so the round goes off, kapow. We've got all kinds of cameras running. We're watching in the scope, and you hear it. Like, you hear that, and that big pop, and it rolls over and starts rolling around. And I'm trying to get another round, and of course he made it down. Oh, he's dead. He just didn't know it yet. But, oh my gosh, those are things that I will remember till the day I die. And every time you pull the trigger, and I think this is why shooting steel is so much fun, It's like you're pulling the lever of a slot machine and you're waiting to see if you're a winner or not, right? You pull the lever, it's going tick, 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 ding, yay, you won, right? And same thing when you shoot, it's bang, okay? Tick, 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 cling, you got the hit. That is so much fun. It just never gets old. And you can set yourself up all kinds of different challenges. And then, of course, you've got all these matches out there like NRL and you've got PRS where that'll lead me down to my second most favorite thing about, shooting in general, whether it's hunting or match shooting. But yeah, it's magical. There's something that hooks you and draws you to it. Now, here's the sad part. And I couldn't make this podcast without at least going over something that's a sad part. When you stop doing it for too long, you forget how much fun it is. That's just the truth. Life gets in the way of everything that's a great time. We're talking about legal great times here as well. But if you remove yourself from shooting for a year or two, you forget. Like you forget how much fun you had. And so you go back out to the range with a friend and you start hitting a couple pieces of steel, whether it's a handgun or rifle, whatever you're doing. And you're like, oh my God, this is a blast. Why haven't I been doing this for the last 2 years, right? So, it is so addictive and it is so much fun. And it's such a good sport to be in, which leads me to my next number 2 reason why you should get into long range shooting or just shooting in general. Camaraderie. Most of the people that I've met in my life, of course, we do this for a living now, but I have made so many acquaintances and friends and have met so many great people and neat people, good people in and around the shooting community. There is just something about it that bonds everybody together. And it's not really like, it's not a yacht club. People are passionate about shooting. And they don't care what you do, where you're from, how much you make. None of that. It's absolutely amazing. They will help you. They will give you advice, sometimes unwanted, sometimes good, sometimes not. But they'll give it to you regardless. and it's awesome because they're willing to share. They're willing to sit down and talk with you about your passion. So, how long you been shooting? Have you shot any matches? How you doing? Oh, wow, that's really nice. Oh, yeah, you want to check out my rifle? Sure. No, here's the bipod that I like a lot. That's where these conversations go. And it's just absolutely stunning. And it is still there. I really enjoy the shooting community. I enjoy the people. I enjoy the friendships. I enjoy throwing your hat in the ring. I enjoy just having fun with it. Some days you win, some days you don't. But I've never left a match thinking that, well, that sucked. I had so much fun. Even if I would have taken, other than last place, next to last place, I probably would have still went home with a big smile on my face. Like, that was a hoot. We had some customers come through, just to go back to rule number 1, or the number 1 reason. He had shot, and we'll leave his name out just to protect the innocent, but we'll throw Terry in there, right? And so he was shooting at our baseball target at 1,000 yards. Now, baseball with 22 Creed, I believe, and he hit it on the first round he shot at it. And then he hit it again. And then he hit it again. 3 times at just over 1,000 yards. He had the biggest grin on his face. He was just doped up on this shooting high for hours, days, months, and my guess is going on years now. He will never forget that. And it was an impressive feat, honestly. To think about how hard that is on a legitimate sized baseball target, sure, everybody gets lucky once in a while and will hit it, but to hit it on the first shot and then 2 consecutive shots afterwards, prone with a bipod, mind you, that's incredible. And he's hooked. And I think the flip side is when you do get hooked, you get to meet a lot of great people. And I think that's what keeps people pulled in. Like, we had a visitor to our shop this week. She's a professional in her own career, and she's just interested in long-range shooting. And I hope she continues that path. I believe she's heading out west to visit some family or friends and going to do some shooting out there at a range and, really try to see if this is her cup of tea or not. but my guess is it will be. And she's going to meet a lot of great people, and she's going to get a lot of encouragement, and she's going to just find her place in the world and maybe a small community. Everybody wants to belong to something. And in a lot of places, people just don't fit in. I wrote a Christmas song for my daughter when she got married last year. It was called The Island of Misfit Toys. And I might actually do an audio version of it. I'll play it here someday. Maybe I'll do it for next Christmas. Anyway, everybody wants to be part of something. And you don't always fit in everywhere. It's just the way it is, right? But the shooting community is sort of like the Island of Misfit Toys. I mean, they really do open their doors to everybody. And they encourage people, and they help people, and they teach people. And they, it's such a... From the outside looking in, there's a lot of people that look at it with disgust and why would you want to do that? And in our day and age, it's even worse than it ever was. We have professionals in all kinds of careers that don't talk about their passion for shooting just because of the retaliation or the side looks or the promotion that they won't get if they're sort of tagged with that, oh, he's one of those guys. You like guns, yeah. So it's such a sad state that you have to hide. You have to be a closet shooter, right? You can't tell anybody other than your close friends, right? We had a physician that came through, a really good physician, prominent physician from, and I believe West Virginia, and he never really got into long-range shooting before. He didn't even know anything about it, right? Wasn't sure. He came to the class with somebody. He had an absolute blast. He was like, oh my God, this is so much fun, right? I never knew, and ended up building rifles and come back several times for other classes. But you know what he said when he got back home after a couple weeks and we talked again? How many friends he made at the hospital that like to shoot. Here he is. He was telling me, him and the janitor have become great friends, talking shooting all the time, right? That's a perfect example. In all these walks of life, of course, I'm going to say hi to anybody, right? I don't care what you do or where you're from. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? Character. But yeah, I'm sure that, and maybe I'll say his name, Gene, if you'll allow me to. But, he was saying the janitor's a big time shooter, and they just hit it off, right? Would they hit it off in any other subject? I'm being honest, right? They're in totally two different worlds, two different careers, two different lives, two different families. I mean, there's just so many things that separate them from having something in common. Not saying that they don't have things in common. I'm just saying there's all these barriers in place, right? But that breaks that down. Oh, you like to shoot? You're kidding me. Oh, no. What kind of rifle you like? Oh, I have that one too. Yeah, I like to shoot long range. And there he is chatting away with the janitor, and him have become friends and talk shooting all the time. And he was surprised on how many other people at the hospital love to shoot in long range. And we had a girl come through years ago with her son, who was a Connecticut State Trooper, and her husband. And she ran an ambulance house. She just wanted to come because she wanted to come. I mean, they invited her because they didn't want to, sort of maybe have her feel left out. And she wasn't that interested in coming. She came because they invited her, right? She had a hoot. And by the way, she beat both of them on test day. She shanked the last two shots so that her husband didn't get a browbeating on the way. I mean, he was you could tell he didn't mind losing, but you could also tell he didn't want to, right? And she was shooting great. She was going to beat them both. She was going to take the Top Gun hat here at our school. And then the last couple shots, man, they were way out. I was like, wow, what's happening? And I must have pulled that one. I got an email a couple weeks after they got home saying some things are more important than beating, and taking the Top Gun hat. I just wanted to let you know I appreciated your training and that I could have beat them, that those last couple shots I threw them on purpose to save my husband a little bit of grace, right? And to let him sort of puff his chest out just a little bit, give him something to go home with, right? How cool is that? And I would say he married up. All right, before we continue on with the podcast, I do want to say thank you to our last sponsor. MDT is the maker of a lot of great different chassis, from a lot of the new stock light hunting stocks that they've come out with, which is the Timber. They have the HNT 26. They have the new J. Allen that they've been producing, and we're actually getting lots of requests for. just a really good company with a lot of great stocks and chassis and a lot of great accessories. So if you want to upgrade your rifle and you like to do it with a stock or chassis that has an adjustable length of pull and cheek piece, you can stop over to mdttac.com. That's mdttac.com. Lastly, don't forget, if you register and sign up and follow us on Patreon at no charge, you can just follow us on Patreon, the link's down below. You are in the running for a free slot at our August long-range shooting school, all-inclusive, which includes the slot for the class at $1,500 and the $500 for the rental school rifle and ammunition. So it's all-inclusive. Also, we will be giving away a slot for all of our Wolfpack members. So if you go over to Patreon, you can sign up for our Wolfpack memberships, which offer great discounts on things here at Wolf Precision, as well as our online training. So online long-range shooting school, online reloading classes, online gunsmithing schools, those are all going up. Lots of content on there already. You will also be in the running for a same slot at that school. So August, we're giving away 2 slots, one to those that follow us on Patreon and one who signs up for the Wolfpack. So if you'd like to learn more about it, you can click on the link below. And don't forget, register and win. We're looking forward to having 2 new winners here for 2026 at our long-range shooting school to enjoy the class with us here. So the question would be, how do you get started? Where do you start? Well, I would start with the local gun range, if you can. Local gun store. Start asking around like, hey, I'm really interested in maybe getting into long-range shooting. Where are there any ranges close by? Are there any like matches or local classes, like one-day events, demonstrations? Maybe they have an indoor range they can get you on something fun to shoot, like a 223 at 100 yards in range, just indoors, just to shoot, or outdoors, 200-300 yards. And then once you start getting in and around the community, the more you're in it, the more you'll learn, the more you'll start to see how much of it's around you and places you can go. Also, think of PRS and NRLs. There's lots of different matches that you can sign up for that you could go, and some of them even have pro-am, so you could go as an amateur and they'll assign you a pro shooter to shoot the match with you. That is so cool. So there are lots of different ways. Forums, go on forums and start asking. Now, be careful with forums. Forums I find to be a double-edged sword. There's lots of great people in there with great information, and then there are those that just waiting for the arguments to start over particular points of view, and then the popcorn comes out for entertainment purposes. So you sort of have to watch. But outside of that, it's a great place to ask around. I know many people that have taken people out to the range for the first time just to shoot a rifle and to see if they're into it. Or, hey, you go to local range, check it out, and say, I'm new, I'm not sure, I'd like to maybe get into long-range shooting. Oh, yeah, would you like to shoot one of my rifles? Happens all the time. So I'm going to encourage everybody, those that would like to learn more about the sport, those that would be interested in trying it, those who would be interested to see what this community really is all about, is to go to the local clubs and ranges and see about signing up, see about taking a match, see about taking a course, see about taking a class. You might find that it might be the one thing that has been missing in your life, just that camaraderie, that friendship, the fun, the good people, right? It's a great community to be a part of. So I'm going to encourage everybody for the new year, get out there, ask questions, check it out, and see if you can't find if it's your cup of tea. I think you might find that there's a good chance it could be. Anyway, we want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully everybody had a safe evening, had a great time. We're looking forward to this year, 2026. We will be at SHOT Show, and so we'll be announcing our booth here in the next podcast. If you'd like to stop by and see us, we're actually right across from Cerakote in the main gun hall, right behind Ruger and Remington. We will also be at the Great American Outdoor Show this year. Great place to stop by and see us. We'll have our iPad there. You can actually register for the Wolfpack, or you can register for just to follow us on Patreon right there. Get you all signed up for the 2 drawings that we'll be having for our free slots for our long-range shooting school. And that's one, I believe we're only having about 10 classes this year, so 50 students in the actual in-person classes. So there'll be 2 of the 50 slots donated just to try to get somebody out there a chance to win and come in and try their hand at long-range shooting and have a great time doing it. Anyway, hope everybody had a great Merry Christmas. Hopefully everybody kept the spirit of what Christmas is truly about, and it's about the birth of Jesus and what he came here to the world to do, to give us a chance at a better life and maybe opening up a door in heaven for all of us to get there. Hopefully we always remember that's what it is. It disturbs me a little bit that they said that Halloween is going to surpass Christmas in its popularity and how much people are going to spend on all the stuff that they do for decorations and stuff. Yeah, it's sort of a little disheartening, but we keep the spirit correct, and we know why Christmas is here, and we get a chance to enjoy it every year with our family and friends. And then hopefully everybody had a great New Year, and looking forward to a great New Year coming up as well. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Looking forward to a great 2026. My name is Jamie Dotson. I'm your host, and you are listening to Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building Podcast.